Hello, welcome to Budget Beauty, where I help you look flawless for less. Hello and welcome back, and welcome if you're new here to Budget Beauty. I'm really excited for today's video. We are going to be doing a full face of Dollar Tree makeup. Everything, all the way from the primer to the setting spray, comes from the Dollar Tree. This is the look that we're going to be creating from Dollar Tree makeup. There's some wins, there's some fails. I'm really excited to share my first impression of these dollar store products with you. So if you're excited for today's video, give it a big, huge thumbs up. And don't forget, if you're new or you haven't yet subscribed to my channel, I'd love to have you here. Hit the subscribe button and don't forget to ring the bell next to it so you never miss a single video. I'm really excited to put together a full face of makeup from the Dollar Tree. I have 14 products, so you can do an entire face of makeup for $14, which is the price of one drugstore foundation. So I'm super excited for today's video, so let's jump in. All right, guys, I'm a little nervous for this look, that I hope that it comes together coming from the Dollar Tree. I did decide to pick up mainly Dollar Tree makeup, some of the brands that you wouldn't find at drugstores, because sometimes you'll find things like Wet n Wild or Elf or those types of products at your local Dollar Tree, but I really tried to focus on more of the Dollar Tree brands of makeup to really put them to the test. So before we get started with today's look, I'm drinking my coffee because I'm probably going to need it. I went ahead and washed, moisturized, hydrated my skin, put on my under eye cream, and I'm ready to get started. So I was able to find a primer at Dollar Tree, which is kind of rare. I honestly don't see primers very often. This is the Smoothing Face Primer from LA Colors. I picked up the Cool Pink, which brightens your complexion. So I'm going to go ahead and apply this over my entire face. So it has a pretty wet consistency. It's not very thick. It doesn't have any fragrance really at all, which is great. I don't prefer to put a lot of fragrance on my skin, so I'm just going to apply this all over my face and make sure it's blended in really well. So I feel like that definitely brightened up my skin. I'm actually pretty impressed. We'll see how it wears throughout the day today. But again, this is the Smoothing Face Primer. I'm gonna let my primer go ahead and set and settle into my skin, but I did pick up the LA Colors Conceal Correct, and this is for brightening your skin, and this is the yellow, which the concern for this particular one is dullness. So I'm gonna go ahead and add this under my eyes to see if it helps brighten that up. So it does come with just a regular doe foot applicator. So I'm just going to put a small amount under my eyes, and then I do have a sunspot right over here. I'm going to go ahead and apply some there, and then I'm just going to blend this out with my finger. Okay, I like this. It definitely brightened up my under eye. So far, Dollar Tree's killing it with this LA Colors line. I'm going to basically be using this corrector as my concealer because Dollar Tree didn't have any concealers in my shade. But, you know, it did the job. It definitely brightened up my under eye. I think I'm going to add a little bit here to the bridge of my nose where I have a little bit of redness as well. All right, I'm liking that. I did go ahead and pick up the Sassy and Chic Blender Sponge as well. This was only $1. It's a nice sponge. It's a little dense, a little hard, but I do want to try to blend out this corrector a little bit more. So I'm going to spray this with the setting spray that I also picked up at the Dollar Tree. And this is the LA Colors setting spray. This is a perfect size for travel or small spaces, but we're going to put it to the test to blend this out a little bit, and then of course we'll set our face with it at the end. I'm going to apply a couple pumps to the pointy end of the blender sponge and blend that out. Oh, this actually feels nice. Yeah, this blender sponge, pretty good for $1. So for foundations, I have two options. I picked up the LA Colors Liquid Makeup. This is in Creamy Beige, and this says flawless looking skin helps even skin tone. So this is a cream liquid makeup. And then I also found the Beauty Benefits Foundation Powder. That doesn't say what color it is on the packaging, but I think I'm gonna go ahead and use the liquid foundation because I also picked up a powder, like a pressed powder. Instead of using the powder foundation, I'm gonna go ahead and use the liquid. Of course, I'm gonna use that blender sponge from the Dollar Tree. I'm really hoping that this is my shade. It does have the pump top, so I'm going to just dispense about 4 pumps or so on my palm. Here we go. Ooh, this is actually a really good match to my skin. It's blending on nicely. Now, I wouldn't say that it's full coverage. I would say it's more of a medium coverage. But wow, you guys, it goes on really nice. It blends out really nice. It's blendable, buildable, pretty much everything you'd look for in a liquid foundation. So there is one coat of the foundation. I love it. It's very natural looking. It doesn't look heavy or cakey on my skin. I'm gonna leave it here. If you wanted a little more full coverage, you could easily build this up by just putting on another layer of the foundation, but I'm gonna go with a little bit more natural when it comes to foundation. But I would give this a 10 out of 10 for how it blends and the fact that it is buildable up from more of a medium coverage to a full coverage foundation. Now for powder, they didn't have any loose powder, any setting powder, anything like that. So I did find the LA Girls pressed powder, and this is in the color Nude. So it's just a lighter, more neutral shade. I'm actually going to apply this over my foundation to set it in the concealer in place. Now it does come with a rather flimsy little sponge. I'm going to use that for the sake of the video, just in case you didn't have the budget or you don't own any brushes. I'm gonna go ahead and use what came with the powder to just apply this right over the foundation. Now I would say it doesn't go on the best with this, but it works. It'll work if you don't have any brushes. This is a very, very full coverage powder. Look at that. I mean, it covered up everything that that lighter weight foundation did not, which I appreciate. It doesn't look cakey. Okay, so after applying the powder, I do have to say that it did settle into my fine lines a little bit. Not terrible, but a little bit. It did apply a nice full coverage of powder over that foundation and the concealer. So I like it. I think it may go on a little bit better with a brush if you didn't have to use the applicator that came in here. But for using that little flimsy sponge, it went on nicely, but I don't know if you can tell that it did settle in just a little bit in my fine lines under my eye. I do want to go ahead and set my entire face, so I'm going to use the setting spray. This comes out really nicely. A nice big mist, but not too much. Now we're going to contour, and I've actually heard a lot about this particular contouring stick on TikTok. This is the LA Colors, and I picked up the color Bronzer. So this is a cream contour stick. So we're gonna use this before we apply our bronzer. And like I said, I've heard really good things about this. So I'm going to apply this on my cheekbone. It does have a little bit of an iridescent to it. I don't love that, but I am going to go ahead and apply it right under my cheekbone and the other places that you would generally put contour. So up here on my forehead, down the bridge of my nose, and right under my jawline. And I'm gonna go ahead and use my same blender to blend that out. I will say, it blends really nicely. I also would have preferred a little bit darker shade of contour and one that doesn't have a shimmer, but let's see how it turns out. We have to trust the process. Now I will say that it did blend out rather nicely. I still don't love that it has the shimmer. And again, like I said, I would prefer to have a little bit darker contour, but we can fix that with bronzer. So I have the Beauty Benefits Glow with the Flow bronzer, and I picked mine up in the color of Paradise Tan. And like I said, we can fix the darkness we wanted from that contour stick with the bronzer. Now I'm going to go in with my brush into the bronzer, and I'm going to apply it right about where we put that contour. Okay, I see you. Oh yeah, that definitely helped add a little more color. So I'm gonna go ahead and add bronzer to the rest of my face, and we'll see how this ends up applying overall. Okay, I really like this bronzer. It was the perfect color. You can see that it really kind of chiseled out my cheekbones along with that contour stick. So because that wasn't dark enough, again, I was able to go in with the bronzer to really get the color that I was looking for. I really like this. This is small, but it's only $1. Next up is blush. So I picked up the powder blush from LA Colors in the color of Toast. It's kind of a salmon-y color. It's a little dark, which I like for blush. I like to really get that nice bold look. Now it does come with the brush to apply the blush. I'm going to just use my blush brush just because it's a little bit easier to maneuver. It does have a little bit of a shimmer, which I like. And then because I'm in my mid-40s, I don't usually apply blush to the apple of my cheek. I'll do like a quick smile and I'll apply the brush up behind my cheekbone. Wow, I like it. And the reason I do that is it draws my face up instead of down, and that gives the appearance of a little bit younger looking skin. Okay, I really like this blush. I will say that it looks pretty dark in the package. It does not go on that dark. I actually had to really build that up and apply quite a few different coats to get this color. I notice a little bit of shimmer, which I appreciate, especially if you don't have the budget for or have any highlighter. This blush, you can see that it gives that little bit of a shimmer like I applied a highlighter, but I did end up picking up a highlighter from the Dollar Tree, so I want to give that one a try, but yes. Yes, yes, yes. So I have the LA Colors Highlight in Shine Bright. So I went ahead and picked this one just because it's a little bit more champagne color, which I like on my skin tone. If I go with more of the gold, they don't really show up much for me because I do have a little bit darker skin tone. Now this is a really pretty color of highlighter. So I'm just using my normal highlighter brush, tap it off, and I'm going to apply it just to the upper part of my cheek. Whoa. Look at that glow. All right, I see you, LA Colors. Look at that. Wow. Wow. And then I always put just a little bit right above my brows, on the tip of my nose, and my Cupid's bow. I do want to point out to you guys, I don't know if you can see that, but there is a ton of fallout with this. It's very powdery, so you can see all the highlighter sitting on top, which I guess is to be expected from Dollar Tree highlighter, but it worked like a champ. I can definitely deal with a little bit of fallout. Just make sure you're tapping off your brush before you're applying, but I love it. Now for the eyes, I wanted to do a neutral look because I know a lot of you prefer more neutral makeup, neutral eyeshadow. So this is the LA Colors 6-pan palette in Hot. H-A-U-T-E. You can see that there's 6 really neutral shades, some browns, some pinks, a lighter color for the inner corner and the brow bone. I'm excited to try this. I'm curious how the fallout's going to be, the pigmentation, and if it's buildable to really get that color that you want. You can see here it does come with an eyeshadow brush, but I'm going to use my regular makeup brushes. Now the pans themselves, they're pretty small in this palette, so you want to try to use a brush that's going to be able to get in there really well. But I'm going to start with this middle lighter pink shade to go all over my lid. I do see a little bit of fallout. Just make sure you tap your brush. Oh wow, that is shimmery. I wasn't expecting that. I was expecting it to be more of a matte, but that's okay. It gives that nice kind of neutral base. Now because that was so shimmery, I'm actually going to do this middle brown down here with a smaller brush right in my crease, hoping this color is a little more matte. Oh yeah, we're matte. Now it doesn't have a lot of pigmentation, but I'm gonna see here if I can build it up. So it also has a shimmer, so I'm not sure if really any of these colors are matte. So that's interesting to have a palette with no mattes, but there is another brown in here I want to try. So let me go ahead and finish out this eye and then we'll try that other brown. This brown here actually gives off a little bit of a purple hue, so I'm going to go in with this darker one next to it and try to deepen that crease a little bit. So I was able to deepen up the crease a little bit with this darker brown. I don't love that this palette has all shimmers. You can see that the eyes are really shimmery. I prefer a mix of matte or shimmer, but I think we can get this look to come together. So I'm going to take this dark, dark, dark purpley brown on the end, and I'm going to apply that to the outer corner to kind of give some depth. And then I'm also going to take that shade and just run that under the outer corner of my lower lash line. That'll give that kind of nice smoky eye. And then with that same big fluffy brush, I'm going to blend that out. I do want to show you guys, if you can see, there is a lot of fallout from that shadow, even though I tapped it off, which is to be expected from a dollar eyeshadow palette. Take a big fluffy brush and just kind of wipe that fallout away. And because I set my face, it doesn't actually stick to any of my face makeup. And you can also see that there's quite a bit of fallout in the pan, But again, it's a $1 eyeshadow palette. So now I want to take this really light shade and put this on my inner corner. I'm just going to use my finger. This is actually a really pretty shade, and see if I can brighten up the eye look a little bit. Okay, this is going on really, really nicely. That definitely helped brighten it up. I'm gonna take that same kind of champagne color and put that right up on my brow bone and the inner corner. And then I'm just going to blend it all out one last time with that big fluffy brush. Okay, so I like the eye look. It turned out better than I thought, especially because every shade in this palette is a shimmer. I was able to build it up. Like I said, it had a lot of fallout. I would prefer that there be a mix of matte and shimmer, but I think the eye look turned out really well. Let's finish it with some liner, mascara. So for eyeliner, I have the LA Colors in black. This is the smudge proof felt tip. Now, if I am limited to one liner, I prefer a felt tip because I can give myself a wing and I can also fill in the actual liner close to my lash line. So it has a really nice felt liner tip. I'm gonna go ahead and draw my wing. Oh, it goes on really nice and smooth. Sometimes you get that like when you try to apply. This one actually goes on nice and smooth. I'm gonna go ahead and bring that in. It goes on nicely. I'm gonna fill in the wing, and then I'm just going to very thinly, a very thin layer, apply liner down to my inner corner. My trick with liner for my eyes is I wanna make my eyes as big as possible. So if you start thicker on the outer edge and then work your way to a really fine line right on your eyelid, it'll really make your eyes look a lot larger. You guys, this is one of the better liquid liners or felt tip liners I've ever used. It went on so smooth, it's pigmented, it was easy to build up and draw that wing. This is something I will definitely be repurchasing because liquid liner can be expensive and this is $1. I am incredibly impressed with this felt tip liner. I love this. This so far is the star of all of the Dollar Tree makeup. And again, this is the LA Colors Eye Marker in black. I'm wowed. For mascara, I have the LA Colors Bold Plumps Lashes in very black, and it says it's a rival for the Rimmel mascara. Let's take a look at the wand, because that's the important part. So it has a nice big wand. That's my favorite type of spoolie. So let's go ahead and see how it applies, how many coats we need to really build it up. Okay, there's one coat. I don't love this. I feel like it doesn't give a lot of coverage. I like that it keeps my eyelashes separated. I like the large spoolie, but it doesn't look like I put much mascara on, and I feel like I really added a lot. So I'm gonna go ahead and do a second coat, and we'll see if we can make this build up a little bit. So there's two coats. I don't like this mascara. This is definitely something I wouldn't repurchase. Maybe some of the other LA Colors mascaras are better, but I still don't feel like I have the coverage that I would have in the buildability and that look that I would have with one coat of other mascara. I'm gonna go ahead and do a third coat, call it a day, but I would not recommend the mascara. Now we're gonna do the brow. So I have the LA Colors in soft brown, the brow definer. It also comes with a small brush. Now this may be a bit of a light color for me, but I am just gonna use it to fill in any gaps of my brows. It goes on nicely. I can definitely see that it's filling in those gaps, and it's more natural, more subtle, which I like for brow. Now it's a little light for me, but it definitely works. And again, on the cap is that brush if you want to go ahead and brush up your brows and shape them. So I like that it comes with that as part of the brow pencil. I like the brow pencil. I definitely will continue to use this. I would repurchase this. You can see that it filled my brows in really nicely, and I really appreciate that brush at the end where I can really kind of brush up my brows and shape them. So highly recommend. Now one product the Dollar Tree didn't have was some type of a brow glue or something that would keep your brows in place. So if you have that on hand, that would be a nice addition, but it went on nice and smooth, and it's a pretty good color for me. I actually really like that brow product. Now the lips that I picked up is the LA Color Lip Duo that has a lipstick and a gloss. I really liked the idea of this. I have the color Clarity, which is a little bit more of a neutral color. So it has the lipstick on one end and a gloss on the other with a doe foot applicator. This is a gorgeous lip color. Let's see how it applies. Ooh, nice and creamy. Now it's a little darker than I thought. It's a little orangier than I thought, but I like it. And now let's go ahead and try out the other end, the gloss. The gloss smells good. It smells kind of vanilla coconutty. You can see on the applicator though, that when I applied the gloss, it picked up a lot of the lip color, but I like it. I think it's a really pretty color. I think it goes well with the eyeshadow look. So lastly, let's set our face one more time with the setting spray. And there is the finished look. So I want to go over each of the products with you and give you kind of a rating on a scale of 1 to 10, what I thought of these products so that you can pick them up the next time you're at your local Dollar Tree. But I think the look turned out really well. I really am impressed with a lot of the face products. I do like the colors of the eyeshadow. I'm curious how this is going to wear. I'll definitely put here on the screen how it wore throughout the day today. But you know, if you're on a budget and you need makeup from the Dollar Tree, I'm pretty impressed with the majority of these products. I hope you enjoyed seeing this look, this full face of makeup from the Dollar Tree, and hearing about the wins and the fails. And don't forget, if you enjoyed this video, to give it a big, huge thumbs up. And let me know down in the comments if you'd like to see some more full faces from the Dollar Tree. I can find some other products and we can do some different looks. So definitely let me know down in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell next to it so you never miss a single video. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.